Hey guys, Anthony with Advanced Vector here. Today bringing you another awesome review of something I purchased on Amazon. I recently recycled a bunch of the laptops that I have and I pulled the old cells out of them. I pulled about 7 18650 cells out that were good. I had more than that, had to do some testing, and some of them weren't within recommended voltages. But that being said, I purchased this LHIABNN DIY Power Bank that takes 8 of these cells. It's got a couple of USB outs as well as some different inputs and whatnot. I think it has a flashlight on it as well. As we can see here, I did purchase this again to throw that disclaimer out there. It's a little on the cheaper side, but that's the purpose of this channel. I'm taking the risk so you don't have to. We'll do the review, the installation of the batteries. We'll do some testing, and we'll see how it does. Alright guys, so here we are. This is the box that it came in. Of course there's a larger Amazon box on the outside, but as far as packaging, it comes in a nondescript box. We can definitely see the label here on the top, and that reflects that this is the correct item. So we'll go ahead and open this up. And we'll take a look at the documentation that they included. It looks like it's just talking about the different batteries that you can use, how to charge them, don't use a fast charger and all that other kind of stuff. It also has an email down here for support, so that's cool. So getting right into it here, let's see if we can just slide this out if we are that lucky, and it does not seem that we are. So we'll just slice this tape that's holding it in place. Oh, I see. As they wrapped the two pieces individually. So this is something that is a little different than the one that I ordered. And I won't say it's different. I'll have to double check when we jump back to the listing there. But I could have swore that I ordered the translucent one so you could see the batteries in there. Obviously this one is darker. And it does not look like you're able to do that. It does have kind of a nice finish on it, though. I was kind of hoping to see those cells in there. That being said, I'm going to kind of set this. We'll kind of look at the back here. It says 20,000 milliamp hours. I think that totally depends on the kind of battery and the different ratings. You know, the 18650s are common, but they kind of fluctuate in performance that you can get out of them depending on exactly what cells they are. So here are the cells that I harvested from my old laptop. These are the two that I purchased on Amazon. One of them was bad. It was under voltage. I'm working with the seller right now. They're sending me a refund, so I'll have to pick up another one. I'm going to go ahead and use it in the meantime. After trickle charging it for a long time, it eventually did come up to voltage, and it seems like it's good. But these pink ones here are ones that I was able to pull out of one of my laptops. So we'll start popping them in here, and we can see that this, let's see here if you can see, we'll bring it in a little closer. You can see that these are labeled with that plus and minus side, if you couldn't guess already from the springs. Again, these particular cells, usually the flat side, the flat bottom, is what's negative, and the other side is positive. So we'll bring that back out here. So I'm going to go ahead and just start popping these in here. I did charge all these batteries beforehand, so they should be all relatively close to the exact same voltage. Oh, so something. Alright guys, so that right there is, I'm hoping I can fix that. If not, that right there is exactly why you have to be careful with these cells. They put off a lot of power. I had just accidentally got that one in the wrong way, and you could see, what happened already. That spring got super hot. It broke itself off of the side strip here, and now it's just kind of dilapidated and broken down in there, and that's still a little bit warm. It's not too bad. I'm actually thinking I might have to just order another case now. That is the pits, but that's totally my fault. I wasn't paying attention. I was talking to you guys. So let that be a lesson that you need to be careful. So I'm going to circle back and see. I think you have to have all 8 of these cells in here in order for it to work. I don't see... Well, here's an on and off button. Well, actually, it looks like it's turning on with just the 3. So that's kind of interesting. We can get that 66 marker to show up. So I'll probably test that battery a little bit more, but let me just go ahead and be extra careful that we're getting these in the right spot now. And we'll pull these ones out and put them in as well. All right, so that's still coming up with the same 66%. I'm guessing that means that how much it thinks that it's charged. So we'll have to see how the rest of that goes. You know, unfortunately, this little coil right here, I don't think I'm going to be able to use it. So I'll have to see if I can pull another spring from something else. So I'm going to break and see if I can fix that really quick, and then we'll come back in. Alright guys, we're back in here. I was able to find another spring out of something else that I could use to kind of wedge in there. I definitely won't use it as a long-term thing. In fact, for only 13 bucks or 12 bucks or whatever these things were, I will very likely just be ordering another one. But I wanted to continue on with the review. You know, I know a lot of reviewers probably would just wait for the new one to come in or not even post this, but I'm going to go with it. You know, that's a very important lesson. There's a lot of energy in these cells, and you have to be careful with what you're doing. You know, for me, I was lucky. It just kind of melted off one of these little springs. Everything else still seems to be working. But you know, if you had put that in something different, you could have ruined that device, or worst case, you know, if one of these cells blows up, it can be quite damaging. So you know, that being said, let's go ahead and install the top of this just to see how all that goes together. See if I can get it all lined up here. So there's the one half, and there's just a bunch of snaps. Actually, I'm wondering if I'm even going to be able to get this back out once I snap it into place. And it seems there's maybe like a, there we go, there's a little bit of pressure. But yeah, there we go. So the thing that I'm noticing off the bat is this LCD thing doesn't seem like it's quite exactly centered, but you know, for 13 bucks, I think that's one of the risks you take. Now that I have the batteries in there, it actually does seem, you know, pretty sturdy. This plastic isn't super thick though, so your mileage will definitely vary from that. You know, unfortunately, unlike some reviewers and stuff like that, I haven't gotten any of those voltage testers or anything, but we'll definitely plug something into these just to see how it's doing. It looks like on the top here, if I can get that focused right, actually bring that in a little bit. Get the light, here we go. We can see we've got a couple of outs and then a couple of different options for in. So we've got our USB-C. We also have, you know, just the 2 normal USB outs, as well as, oh, that looks like that's a Thunderbolt in, which is the iPhone. So you could use an iPhone charger to charge this, as well as just your typical micro USB. So that's cool that they give you so many options for charging. You don't have to have a specific thing. You know, if you're at a friend's house and they got an iPhone or an Android, and you know, you can always definitely top this battery bank off. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is put this on the charger. So let me grab one of my other banks. Alright guys, so we're back in here. I got my trusty black web charger, and the first thing that we're going to try is actually one of these iPhone chargers. This one does have the Thunderbolt in port, so we'll go ahead and plug that into the corresponding port on the top, and immediately we can see that come up. We can see that little light flashing, and it says in, and that means that power is now coming in and charging it. So that's cool. The only other thing I wanted to try real quick before we try to power something with, with this, is let's go ahead and just try with a normal micro USB as well. And we plug that in, and again we can see that corresponding inline blink. So that's great. Now let's see what we're able to get from one of the outputs. I guess, from the other way, let's just see if we can charge this battery back. Okay. It's not super efficient, but yep. So now I don't know if you guys can see, but lightly blinking here is the light on my black web charger. That's showing that it is taking a charge as well. So it seems to be working. I'm going to do, I'll have to keep fiddling with it, but all in all, I'm pretty impressed with it. Even after kind of melting out one of those retention springs for the cells, it's still working great. I guess the only other question I have is this does have a light. We can see right here. So when I click this button, it just brings my display on. So do I have to hold it? Maybe double click. There we go. So it looks like a double click, and it's not super bright. Maybe. Yep, double click just turns it on and off. You don't get any varying brightness. Let me turn my light off here so you can kind of get a sense. So, it's not anything super fabulous or anything like that. But you can even kind of still see it after I turn on my backlight here. Let's get that back in focus. But yeah, it's good. That's cool. If you were in a pinch and you needed that, that could definitely save your bacon. Alright guys, I was actually wrapping up the video and I just decided to plug my phone into this charger, and so I thought I'd bring you in just one more time. So this is actually happening after the fact. I'm going to slice this in so you can see it though. So one thing that I did not notice before that is actually very neat that I wish some of the other chargers that I had, or battery banks I had, would do. So I've got my iPhone connector here. We're going to go ahead and plug that into my iPhone 7. And we can see that normal light comes up. But the thing I didn't notice before is this other indicator that comes up. And if we bring it in a little closer here, we can see that that's telling us that it's outputting at 5 volts, 2.1 amps. That's super cool. When you plug in those higher amp devices, it's nice to know what you're outputting. So that is awesome. Additionally, let's go ahead and unplug that whole thing here. It tells us if we plug something in that is not taking as much power. So I plug in my other battery bank here again, and I must have just missed it the first time. And you can't hardly see it unless I tilt the screen up because this is off-centered a little bit. But now it says that it's drawing 5 volts at 1 amp. So that is very cool as well. Now the last thing that I wanted to try, and I have not done this yet, is let's plug both of these devices in and see what happens. So now that we have both of them in, it looks like it is... Oh, something happened here. Oh, maybe the display... Yep, so it looks like the display just turned off. If I can get my thing to focus here. There we go. But yeah, now both of them are on. It says we've got one device. So I'm guessing that it only can tell you either or. Like if you had two devices at 2.1 amps, you wouldn't be able to tell that. But all in all, a pretty neat feature. I thought I'd just call that out as well because that is super fantastic. Alright guys, well that's going to go ahead and do it for the LHIABNN DIY Power Bank. I will have a link in the description below if you want to check this one out and get it for yourself. I did have that one little mishap, and so I just want to reiterate, be very careful when you're dealing with these high-powered cells. I had a slight mishap. It was no big deal for me. I was able to find another spring to pop in there and get it going again. But be careful anytime you're dealing with your electronics, guys. You could either ruin the electronics, or worst case, you could injure yourself. That being said, I think this power bank is great. It looks like it's going to be working out. It feels fairly well constructed. And you know, you can theoretically replace those cells. It felt like that snapped into position, you know, pretty firmly. So I also don't have any hesitation or concern, I should say, about the pack coming apart when it's in a backpack or something like that. So it feels like it's definitely in there very sturdy. But yeah, all in all, I give it that 5-star review from my end. I think it's great, especially at that price point. You get a lot of different input options, which is a huge bonus, as well as you get those 2 ports out. So if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to the channel, guys. It really helps. I'm looking for that. The thumbs up help as well. If you could just, you know, just tap that little thumbs up button on your phone or on your computer, whatever you're watching this on, that would be super fantastic, and I would definitely appreciate it. That being said, stay happy and keep shopping.